Hello YouTube, this is Bash, bringing you here for the NPL Tryouts. This is going to be, oh my gosh, so basically I am applying for NPL minors or majors, probably most likely minors to be honest, but that's besides the point. Basically we went through, this is phase 2 of the application process. And first, we had to fill out this application, and they basically took in approximately, I believe it's like 64 people. Oh no, they took in like 48 people, and split them up into groups of 16 for draft pools, and later we'll be separated into battle pools, which are groups of 6, and based off of our performance in this tournament is if we make minors or not, or majors or not. It's like, so I'm gonna go through my team. There's also a couple rules with this. This is a points draft, which basically is like a scale, I believe, from 18, I think, to 1 point. Bonds are labeled points based off of value. So like a solid stealer would be like I believe it was 18, while like a I don't know, a Dwosian would be 1 point. So that's how it would work. And the Z crystals, the way it would work is you get 25 points of Z crystals, which you can use on Mons, and say like so the Mons that points value has to equal up to 25 for Z crystals. So say like I have a 10 point, a 9 point, and a 5 point to say. That is equal to 24. So that means it's 25 or less. Meaning those 3 Mons, the 10 point, the 10 point, the 9 point, and the 5 point Mon, they can be Z captains. So that's how it works. If it goes over 25, so like if it's 26 points, like 11, 10, and 5, then you wouldn't that's not valid Z captains, and you have to repick your Z captains. So going into this draft, I ended up with the 16th pick out of 16, which isn't the worst thing, because you do get a wheel pick, which is always amazing to have. But there's some consequences to that, bad things about it, because then you don't get like a high tier Mon per se, like one of the top Mons. Like obviously Tapu Koko, Celesteela went like early, so did Mew, Lander, Therian, and Carney went early too. Mega Glade, which I thought was gonna fall to me, went early. So did Megalophony. So a lot of things went early. So when it came finally to me, I was stuck between 2 Mons, and that was Zygarde 50 and Victini, and I decided to go with Victini. Victini, I think. Well, so what I wanted to do with this draft was I wanted to be able to not lose to bulk or stall. That's what I really wanted to do with this team, and I felt like Victini does that a lot better, as Victini literally is an amazing breaker. Literally amazing breaker. Its coverage pool and its ability to just wreck things with V-Create is just absolutely amazing. It's really hard to switch into this Mon, honestly, and really the best way to check a Victini is probably with a Dragon type or like a Rock type maybe. And even still, I have a whole draft to be able to beat that. I have a whole draft to build to beat that. So I'm not really that worried about that. But what Victini provides is wall breaking potential, because in draft league format, the easiest way to win games is to outstall or like bulky defense, as that's the easiest, but not not the most funnest, but the easiest way to win a game is to wall out the opponent. So right off the bat, I do not want that to happen to me, and I'm going to pick Victini, who is an excellent wall breaker and very difficult to switch in. So at this point. I didn't really think I really wanted Zygarde because there's a couple reasons. One is I was really worried about Tapu Koko flying around this tournament, and I did not want to have my ground type be weak to Tapu Koko Dazzling Gleam, and I didn't want a ground type that was weak, 4 times weak to a move on my tournament team. So I decided against that, and there was so yeah, I just didn't really think Zygarde. If it came back to me, I would take it. But I think Victini. I think I'm feel a lot more comfortable with Victini, based off of how I used it in the past as well. So, Victini has joined the squad, and I have, and as having the wheel pick, I get another mod, and this is where I decided to grab my really bulky water, because at this point, there's a couple things I was looking at, but I was really worried this one mod would not get it back to me, and I really thought this mod was crucial for the team, and as I mentioned before, bulk and bulk and stall kind of, if you could win with that, it's like if you go into a match with that with that kind of concept, it's a lot easier to win, I guess you could say. But I decided to go with Suicune. Now Suicune is just, oh my god, it's disgusting. Like this thing takes hits for days. Like, and with it can pressure stall, obviously with the sub protect toxic con mine thing. It's able to beat out its counters with that, with the pressure stalling, and not only that, the things that what really counters Suicune is grass and electric types, and electric types don't always want to switch in on water type moves, and grass types, they get eaten alive by Victini, and Suicune is able to check things that Victini doesn't want to deal with. Like, well, just because of its overall natural bulk. It's not even like because of super non-effective kind of resistances and super effective moves. It's just that Suicune is just really bulky, and it's not super, and they don't have a common weakness. So that's really good, I think, for the start of my draft. It's two very familiar mons I'm with. I'm like, two mons I'm really familiar with, and I really think that they could do a lot of things together really well. So, and I believe it's Suicune at 13 points is pretty good. And there's like a different kinds of utility options I can run with this as well, such as Tailwind and Miracle, which is really cool. But it's really here to take walls and help start building my defensive core, which this thing can be offensive if it really needs to. Like it gets a decent amount of coverage moves to hit offensively as well. So I'm not really that entirely worried about it, but I'm not really. Let's just say, hope if I feel really confident with a certain set, I'll bring it, because I mean this is the draft league format, so there's bound to be different sets that will work on different matches. I will not reveal all the sets now, as I guarantee the people that have to play me will probably be watching my draft recap, so to get any inside information. So we're gonna go on to the next mon. So at this point, I want to grab a dragon. My dragon and steel type at this moment. Which at the moment would be Hydreigon and Scizor. And the draft goes all the way down. Hydreigon gets taken. Draft comes all the way back. Scizor gets taken. So I gotta redo my draft plan, as I think Hydreigon would have fit this team absolutely amazingly, as Hydreigon is able to deal with pretty much all the weaknesses these two mons I had before me, except for Rock for Victini. Every other weakness between these two mons is covered by Hydreigon. So I'm kind of upset that I didn't get Hydreigon. I'm not kind of upset. I'm really upset, but we'll fix up the draft, and hopefully it will come out on a better. Because I do like the way it turned out, but yeah, Hydreigon was a big snipe. And Scizor, it isn't as big of a deal. I did like the priority and the U-turn plus the fog option, but I could deal without that. It's not really as big of a deal. But at this point, I realized I really wanted to get my dragon, and I wanted to get my fairy as well at this point because I didn't really want to wait for my fairy at this point. Now that I realized my top tier steel was gonna went already, and I really wanted my dragon now to help out with Suicune. I'm gonna go with it, and I'm gonna grab Como, who, by the way, is an absolute monster. Oh my god! I made this my Z captain, one of my Z captains. So I have 12 points left to use on Z captains. Because 25 minus 13 is 12. So Como is just an absolute beast. It actually has a decent amount of bulk, to be honest, which allows it to set up to get off the setup moves, and it's not. It does have the quad weakness to the fairy, but there isn't HP fairy, which is absolutely amazing for this mod, and I already know which mons have the coverage of the fairy coverage to hit Como, so I'll be able to know when to bring this in and just set up, or just to use as a breaker, because this thing can break too as well. Like, don't even kid me. I know this attack and a special attack aren't absolutely amazing, but clanging scales hits really, really hard, and so does close combat. So I mean, this thing is just a beast. It also gets stealth rocks, which is I think is a really good utility option as well if I want to go that route. So I really like Como, and if you know me at like a decent amount, you'll know that I'm a really big Como fan. So ever since Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I've been a really big fan of it because it really got an upgrade from Sun and Moon. Man, this thing is so much better since Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon came out, and I'm so happy about it with getting like close combat and stuff like that, and coverage moves like Dream Punch and the what's it called? The elemental punches. Yeah, that's what it is. Even at a base speed stat of 85, which I know is repeating with Suicune, which I still like how it is on my team, and I felt like it really helped out. Still, it's still able to deal with a lot, and it could be really bulky mon too, and it doesn't have reliable recovery, but the next mon I'm gonna pick, you'll see in a minute, helps out with the fact that it doesn't get reliable recovery, and it helps with momentum purposes as well. As I already have Victini for momentum, but I would always love to get more momentum. And yeah, that's what I gotta say. The 3 abilities is really nice because it forces my opponent to switch up their prep based off of what they don't know which ability I'm gonna be. As like maybe like a Mega Gardevoir or Sylveon might be forced to run Moonblast, which takes away from the power output of Hyper Voice, which is nice. Bulletproof maybe prevents somebody from running like a Shadow Ball or something like that. I don't know, and maybe run Hex instead. It's just I think it's a really good really good abilities. And there's also Overcoat, so it could be a Spore Absorber, which is really cool. I think so. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with the ability. I know that a couple people in one of my leagues kind of made fun of his abilities, but I'd still think the abilities are really good. So next we have our fairy type, and you probably figure it out as I did mention Wish Passing and Momentum, and that is Sylveon, who's Bella. Sylveon's a beast. Wish Passing is really nice for my team as right now it doesn't have any reliable recovery. I guess unless you include Rest, but like Rest isn't really reliable recovery per se. Unless you really, I mean, I guess on the Suicune it sort of is, but like not really. And I really like the fact that Wish Passing could be really nice for this team. And like this thing hits hard, and I feel like this thing gets compared with Forgus, I think a decent amount. And I do think Sylveon's a lot better than Forgus because Sylveon gets a lot of coverage moves it's able to hit, and it gets momentum as well, which is really nice. And Hyper Voice boosted pixelate boosted Hyper Voices, which is absolutely amazing. While Forgus can't touch steel types at all whatsoever, and it does get Florgus does get defog, but I think Sylveon is just a better mon overall, and I could deal with the hazard removal later. Sylveon is just an absolute. It can be a beast, and like if you really want to, you can run Pixelate boosted hyper beam, which, oof, that's just a nuke. If you're not resisting that, that's just, oh, that's gonna hurt. So, and this thing is a very Spadefy mon, which is really nice for my team. It's always nice to have a really defensive mon as well because it helps with my defensive core. But this is also could be added to my offensive core because this thing hits really hard as well. Um, and I'm really excited to use Sylveon, and hopefully I do well with it because I have in the past, and I'm looking forward to using it again with some of the other mods. So, draft goes all the way there, comes all the way back. I wanted to grab my grass type at this moment to finish out my fire, water, grass, and I felt like this would really help out with removal and stuff like that as well. And so, well, first, let me start with this. I wanted Roserade. T-Spikes, Spikes, kind of stuff. The Technician boosted, Hidden Powers is always nice. I just think it's a really good, and it's a really good breaker too if you really need to. And its coverage moves are absolutely amazing as well. And the ability to set up T-Spikes and Spikes is always amazing. That gets taken, yep, that gets taken on the way back. And my backup to that was Superior. Also gets taken. So I'm going to put a grass type on the back wheel at the moment because I don't know what to do. I'm in the moment, I was kind of in a panic, almost not really a panic, but I had to redo my draft like 2 or 3 times in a matter of a day because of that. Well, matter of more like I would say maybe like 2 or 3 hours. I had to redo my draft plan again and again, so I was in a rush, and then oh my god, my Mega gets picked too. Mega Manectric, which is what I really wanted for my team too. Which was really unfortunate because it was right in front of it was the pick before me got taken, and that was the turn. That was the round I was gonna take it. So, I mean, oh well, it happens. But I had to redo my draft plan yet again. So we'll figure it out. So I decided to grab. I decided to go a different path with my draft, and I decided to grab this monster, and that is Nidoking. Now, Nidoking is a Nidoking was already gone, and that's why I kind of more consider Nidoking for the fact. But Nidoking has a different more role than Nidoqueen, but it's a lot more offensive as well too, which is absolutely amazing. With Sheer Force, this thing doesn't look like it hits that hard, but it does with Sheer Force. So I absolutely love that about this mon, and its coverage pool is absolutely amazing. So it's honestly really difficult to switch into this on it this mon. So and now I have like 2 really good wall breakers, and maybe like I guess you could say Komo's sort of a wall breaker too if you really want it to be that way. But Victini and Nidoking are just destroy lives. Like it really hurts opponents to prep for this. And what really stops Victini is probably I would say a bulky rock, a rock type, probably, or a bulky probably dragon. I would say. Nidoking gets Ice Beam. It hits really hard with Sheer Force, and Earth Power just destroys rock types. So I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with this pick. And this thing also gives me another rocker, and it gives me T-Spikes, which is I absolutely love. T-Spikes is always amazing for a draft, and it gives me Ground and Poison, so I don't have to deal with getting those T-Spikes up against myself. I can just swap into Nidoking and absorb them up, and not have to worry about them anymore. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, there's not much really else to say. It does get priority as well, with, I believe, a Sucker Punch, which is really nice. So that's that. And then next, I decided to grab my replacement for Mega Manectric as my electric type, and that would be Raikou. Raikou I've used in the past before, and I think it's a really solid mod. I didn't really think much of it before I used it. Like I didn't really think it was that amazing of a mod before I used it. I thought it was like overpriced, but I think it's a really good mod now that I've used it. It's a kind of bulky, but it hits really hard too as well. And this mod, if I really wanted to, could pressure stall a little bit, because I mean it is sort of sometimes the format kind of calls for some things, but I mean, it's not always the best thing to do. But this thing could. I feel like this thing is more of a could be more of an offensive, versatile threat, and it could be a good assault vest user, which I think it would be a really good assault vest user. With its SPDEF and HP, it could take a lot of hits too, while also throwing out a lot of hits as well. And the fact that I now have Volturn, which is absolutely amazing, with Victini and Raikou, absolutely love that. As Victini and Raikou pretty much destroy, they pretty much destroy like almost everything in the format. I would say, and I guess Nidoking as well, if you really want to add that in. Those three just destroy everything. So, right, I believe so. And also the bulky waters that might annoy Como. That might like the waters usually in draft format are extremely bulky, but Raikou I feel like puts a lot of pressure on them, which may it will help out I think the team a lot for Raikou to put a lot of pressure on the bulky waters that cause my team a little harm, I would say, I guess is the right word. So that's that. Next, the draft goes all the way down, comes all the way back, and I'm gonna grab my Mega because I cannot wait anymore for my Mega. And it's Mega Aerodactyl, the Pterodactyl, the monster. This thing is a beast. This thing's a beast. It's so fast with base 150 speed, and it can hit really hard with Tough Claw boosted moves. Although it doesn't get a Tough Claw boosted move for rocks, but a rock type coverage, but rock stab event. But I do feel like Mega Aerodactyl is really good, and its coverage moves are absolutely amazing. And it gives me hazard removal as well as a hazard setter with Stealth Rock and Defog, which is always nice. Mega Aerodactyl is a beast, honestly, and it hits things really hard. Really, I would say there isn't actually. I would say maybe like bulky waters really cause it a little bit issue, which is really nice that I have Raikou for it. Raikou for bulky waters. And I feel like this thing forces Mons to run more speedy natures as well as like choice scarfs, which takes away from the power outage that allows my walls to do a lot better, such as like Suicune's, Como if I really need to, Sylveon, Raikou. It helps take away the power outage of my opponent's Mons if they have to be forced to run a scarf instead of like a life orb or life choice band, choice specs. So I think that really brings a lot to my team, and it also helps with switching into flying because bird spam is a thing, and this thing is able to take on bird spam pretty decently well, I would say. As Raikou's defenses aren't the best, I would say, which is why. But so Brave Bird spam is kind of annoying for it, but Mega Aerodactyl gives me a better way to be able to check that. And the next mon, as you'll see in a minute, absolutely checks bird spam. Nobody's gonna bring bird spam if I have this mon around. So, next I just in this pick is wheel pick. So I grab my Aerodactyl, and then I grab this mon who's another rocker, Registeel. Registeel is absolutely bulky, and I think it really pairs with Sylveon amazingly well, as Sylveon is able to pass those wish passes to Registeel to help it out as well. And Sylveon really gets forced out by poison and steel types, while Registeel just completely walls the things that threaten Sylveon. So that's really nice. It gives me my first. It gives me my. Okay, well, first I would say that Como, Nidoking, and Mega Aerodactyl don't always want to be ran with Stealth Rock. So having Registeel here is absolutely amazing as a rocker for my team, and it's so bulky. It takes so many hits. Like there was a time in a different league that had Z Sunny Day, Delphox, and a Fire Blast in the Sun did not, like, this thing ate a Fire Blast in the Sun from a Delphox. Like, that's so insane. I can't believe that actually still happened. I still remember that moment when it happened, and how it got a T-Wave, which is just absolutely annoying. This thing doesn't look like it can hit hard, but it can if you really want to. Like it has Seismic Toss. It has ways to set up as well, and it can be really annoying with statuses as well. So I feel like Registeel is a really good pick for my team, and it's really good at chewing things. As now Suicune plus Registeel is just those two mods alone is just terribly annoying to deal with on a team, terribly difficult to break through. As I said before, having really bulky team slash stall is the easiest way to win through a draft format, and I think I have that while also having a really good wall breakers and setup options as well. So I think I've gotten a pretty good balance so far, but there's still a couple things I'm missing on my team. Like I kind of want a dark type. I'm kind of missing a little priority, and there's also I would like a little more removal as well as a grass type with like reliable recovery. So that really will be the define my next couple months. And coming after this, a little person gets picked. It gets sniped from me, and that was rough. But we were able to recover from that. A little person would have been really nice with the parting shot and the fake out and foul play and all that stuff. And I really like a little person, which is why I really kind of wanted it. But this mod, I think I'm pretty satisfied with as well. I've never used this mod before, so I'm a little interested by it. But Sneeze, but sorry, the little spoiler. It's Sneasel, and Sneasel I think is really good to pressure out some mons like the ground types, which is really nice. It hits decently hard with its two stabs. Like it's really difficult to deal with those two stabs. And I would probably say the only like bulky waters maybe might want to take this and steals, and I have really good ways to deal with that as Victini destroys steel types as well as Como, and Raikou destroys bulky waters. So I mean I'm not really that like concerned about it. This thing can hit really hard, and I really love the ice shard pressure that it brings, as I'm sure I'm going to be facing Lando T's and Zygarde 50s and all those 4 times weak to ice mons. So having an ice shard user is always nice for a team. I mean, it's not the strongest, I would say, ice shard user, but it hits really hard and it's really good. I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty good. A good ice shard user for the amount of points I spent on it. So, and this actually is one of my Z Crystal users, and as you'll see, I've used up. Let me think math real quick. That is 21. So I've used 21 of my 25 points, and I still have one mon left. So we do actually, in fact, use our last one is actually one of our final Z Crystal user. You'll see in a second. So, but Sneasel I think is really good, and knockoff pressure is always nice in Draft League. And I didn't really have a knockoff user at the moment, so I feel like having Sneasel now is really nice for knockoff. So, because knockoff is one of the best moves in the game, I would probably say. So, last but not least, I grabbed my bulky grass type. Well, sort of bulky grass type. But this thing could set up as well, which is really scary, as I've actually used it to sleep people before. And this is Lurantis. So Lurantis gives a lot of things for my team, and it's a Z Crystal user, as I said before. But it gives a lot of things for this team. It gives a very offensive pressure as with the superpower or like Leaf Storm Contrary. Much slower Ramon than like superior stuff, but I feel like it's probably better at using it, other than the fact that it's really slow. Because it has two different ways to use the Contrary boost. This also gives me a defog, which is really nice always, because now I have another defogger. This thing gives me reliable recovery and synthesis, and I believe it has aromatherapy as well, which is always nice for a cleric. And this thing can hit hard. Like, if I wanted to, I can run Z Solar Bleed. Like, Solar Blade hits super hard. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a higher base power than Solar Beam, which is really nice. So maybe if I get off like a superpower and click Z Solar Blade, that'd be absolutely crazy. I feel like the meter is really good. And I can run like a Z Sunny Day set. You never know. I feel like I feel like people have to be worried about Lurantis as well, as even as a 3-point mod, I feel like it's actually done really well, as I've actually used it in Crash Season 1, to be honest. I used it in Crash Season 1 to sweep Will, which is kind of scary to think about, because he actually had a Charizard X as well on his team. So the fact that this was able to pull that off just shows how disgustingly powerful it is, and how underrated it is in draft based format. I think people should be really scared of this because it really can do a lot for my team. And that is my team for the NPL. At this at this moment, we don't know our battle pools at the moment of me recording this. Uh, when I find out, I'll let you guys know. I will actually be doing team builders for this tournament, as well as uploading the match. I haven't really decided yet for the match if I'm going to do live com or post com. I'll see when the time comes. So that's that. This should be going up soon. The team battles will be coming up soon as well. Hopefully we can do really well on this. I really want to get into the NPL. I really want to get into NPL minors, and hopefully show everybody what I'm capable of, because I think I've done it in the past. I have won a championship before, but and made it to a couple finals. But I really want to use this as to help show what I'm capable of. So I mean, it's a long tournament to go. So we'll see, as there are 47 other people competing for spots. So I mean, there's a lot of good competition as well. So we'll see. But hopefully, as I said before, we do really well, and I believe we'll find out our battle pools maybe the day after I upload this. I'm not entirely sure, but until then, Dash out.